She pretended to be dead. On the day of her burial, her husband was the first to arrive, and he was smiling while holding the hand of a pretty young lady. Ndidi shone like the morning sun after heavy rain, bright, warm, and full of hope. Her wealth stretched wide than the eyes could see, but her hands were always open. She wasn't just rich, she was rich with reason. In the bustling heart of Lagos, she built schools for children whose dreams once ended in muddy streets. She sponsored surgeries for strangers she had never met and fed entire communities with steaming pots of jollof rice, yam porridge, and egusi soup. Her generosity was like the river Niger, deep, wide, and always flowing. She was in her second marriage. This was to Cheta, a man she met when he was still chasing shadows of success. Ndidi lifted him. She bought him a luxury jeep, built a 6-bedroom duplex for him in Lekki, and used her influence to help him launch a construction company. Soon, Cheta was shaking hands with governors and sipping palm wine at elite gatherings, all thanks to her. Ndidi had one child of her own, Adugu, a brilliant young woman studying medicine in Canada, the pride of her heart. But with Cheta came his 2 grown sons, Efe and Toba. They were wolves in designer clothing, lazy, entitled, and driven by pleasure. They didn't lift a single finger. Instead, they spent Ndidi's money on wide nights in Abuja, clubbing with slay queens, renting yachts in Cape Town, and flaunting their lives on Instagram. And Cheta, he had become a master manipulator, always with a sweet tongue and a new request. Today, a Rolex. Tomorrow, a plot of land. While Ndidi toiled daily to manage her foundation and oversee multiple companies, her husband and stepsons lived like kings on her sweat. Her only real friend, Obianuju, often gave her worried glances. Ndidi, she would whisper, "Your heart is too golden. You're pouring water into a basket. Open your eyes, my sister." But Ndidi, ever hopeful, would reply with a soft smile, "Maybe love will change them someday." Oh, how wrong she was. Ndidi watched as Efe flaunted a brand new designer wristwatch online, one worth the cost of building a clinic. Toba had just come back from Paris, where he threw a private beach party with 10 girls and 0 regrets. Cheta returned home late again, smelling of perfume, his phone buzzing with strange numbers. He kissed her cheek, dropped a receipt for a 2.5 million naira dinner, and asked for 5 million to boost the company account. They never asked how she was, never noticed when she didn't eat, never saw the tired circles under her eyes. They smiled when she gave them and vanished immediately. They acted like they loved her, but the truth was starting to crawl through the cracks. Meanwhile, sweet Adugo called daily asking, "Mama, have you rested today?" She would send articles about kindness and social change, always ending with, "One day, I will come home and join you to change Nigeria." Ndidi's golden heart began to tarnish. A cold, strange feeling sat in her chest. It started like a mosquito bite, small and ignorable. But now, it had become a full-bodied shadow, stretching across her joy. Do they love me or my bank account? She needed to know, but not through their lips, through their true nature. She needed a plan. Ndidi tossed and turned in her large, lonely bedroom. The chandelier overhead sparkled like the diamonds Cheta once begged her to buy. Each twinkle reminded her of another lie, another false smile, another betrayal. Her heart ached, but her spirit burned hotter. She went to Dr. Ebube, a long-trusted friend and physician who had known her before the fame, before the billions. She closed his office door and whispered the plan in a voice full of sorrow and silent strength. I need to disappear, just for a while. I need to see who they are and when they think I'm no longer useful. Ebube's eyes widened. Ndidi, you want to fake your death? Yes, she nodded, a tear sliding down her cheek. Only death will reveal true hearts. After days of careful planning, the moment came. One sunny Tuesday, during breakfast, Ndidi clutched her chest and collapsed. Her staff screamed. Cheta rushed in, phone in hand, already calling. But not the doctor. He called the lawyer first. Minutes later, Dr. Ebube arrived. He examined her, then gave a slow, sorrowful shake of his head. I'm sorry, she's gone. The news spread like wildfire. Condolences poured in from politicians and celebrities. The newspapers mourned. But behind closed doors, something darker stared. Cheta did not shed a single tear. Instead, he opened his wardrobe, selected his finest agbada, and called a young lady on WhatsApp. Soma, get ready. I want you to meet some people tomorrow at the burial. Dress well, okay? The woman giggled through the phone. I'll wear that red lace dress you bought me. Can I ride the Benz? Cheta laughed. Of course. You're my queen now. From her hidden location, just a floor above her own bedroom, Ndidi listened. Her heart cracked, but she wasn't broken. Not yet. The day of Ndidi's burial arrived. The company in Umokoro village overflowed with people, but not with tears or hymns, no wailing, no deep sighs. Instead, there was laughter, clinking glasses, perfume and loud music. The air was thick with betrayal. As early as 6 a.m., Ndidi's husband, Chief Cheta, arrived, not in black or even a hint of morning clothes, but in a blindingly white designer agbada, embroidered with gold threads and shimmered under the morning sun. On his arm was Soma, a young woman in her 20s, her skin light and glowing, her figure wrapped tightly in a tight red designer attire, her laughter so loud and flirtatious that even the birds paused. The villagers stared in disbelief, but Cheta cared little for whispers. He raised the golden champagne cup, standing at the center of the compound like a king addressing his subjects. Ndidi lived a good life, he said with a cruel smirk, and now she has left her riches for us to enjoy. More cars drove in, Efe and Toba, Ndidi's stepsons, both in flashy clothes, with booming speakers echoing Afro beats into the sky. Behind them came girls in tight, revealing attires. They carried cooler boxes and cartons of drinks, like they had come for a wedding. The crowd started dancing. Money rained from every corner. Wads of naira cash and dollars flew in the air. Some people rushed to grab them. Others watched, confused, mouths wide, and right there, on the very ground where the casket was to be lowered, Efe danced like a man who had just won a jackpot. From ashes to assets, he shouted, "We don't cash out though." But in the golden trim white coffin, lying under the grand canopy, Ndidi watched and listened. Her eyes were closed, but her ears heard everything. Her breath was slow and shallow. As her husband laughed, as her stepson celebrated, Ndidi's hand twitched slightly under the lace gloves she wore in the coffin. Her heart pounded with each word, each insult, each step on the soil meant for her grave. Then came the final dagger. Cheta, surrounded by guests, walked over to her lawyer, Barrister Ojugo, who had just arrived. "Madam Ojugo," Cheta said, voice calm but eyes greedy, "let's not waste time. Ndidi is gone. I need to know what I own now. The house, the businesses, the shares, everything." Barrister Ojugo stiffened, horrified. "Chief, but this is her burial." "Exactly," he snapped. "The perfect time to seal my inheritance. I have waited long enough." Inside the coffin, her heart, once golden with trust and sacrifice, had turned to fragile glass, and now it shattered. It took 3 weeks. 3 weeks of gathering evidence, 3 weeks of working silently with Barrister Ojugo and a trusted business manager, Madam Ngozi. Ndidi rewrote her will, froze all joint accounts, reclaimed business registrations, legally stripping Cheta and his sons of every ownership document. Then she planned her return. On a Monday morning, Cheta sat in his office with Efe and Toba, bragging about a fake business deal. Then the door opened, and in walked Ndidi, alive. She wore elegant designer attire and carried a designer bag. She looked like a goddess, risen for judgment. Cheta stood. Ndidi. Efe dropped his wine glass. "Mommy!" "Surprise," she said calmly. "Didn't expect to see a ghost?" The room fell into dead silence. "I watched my own burial," she continued, her voice sharp as a blade. "And what I saw showed me the demons I have been feeding. They begged. They cried. Ndidi, please, it was a mistake. We thought we lost you. We were grieving in our own way." She pulled her hand away. "I died and you danced. You toast to my wealth. You even brought a strange woman to my grave. Now it's time for you to pay." Security entered. One by one, they were removed from the building. Cheta lost the house, the businesses, the cars. Everything she gave them, she took back. With the wicked men gone, Ndidi and Adugo walked hand in hand after her graduation in Canada. Adugo took over one of the biggest companies and began a campaign for young African girls in tech and education. Ndidi reopened schools, funded more hospitals, and invested in farmers across eastern Nigeria. But she had changed. Now, her generosity came with wisdom. She didn't just give, she empowered people. She became a legend, a woman who died, saw the truth, and rose again to cleanse her life. As for Cheta, Efe, and Toba, they were last seen roaming Lagos, begging for jobs, living off the pity of strangers. Ndidi never looked back. She had found her peace. She had found her true wealth. And above all, she found the only love that mattered. The love of a daughter who stood by her, even when the world didn't. The end.